Well, howdy y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Cy Strikling. I'm here today to talk to you guys about some rumors going around and to clear some things up. We're going to take a listen to a Periscope live from Jason, of course. Everybody knows him as Unirock. And I'm going to go through and address his points because, he wants to make sure that people address his points. So we're going to do just that today. Alrighty, so let's start out and take a listen to his Periscope. Here we go.
Let's get this done really quick because I'm editing right now. I am editing right now. So let's get this done really quick. I am editing. Menace says this on Twitter. Well, he claimed that he moved in with you. The way he tells the story, he had the money sitting there to go to Florida. And then the plans changed. And he used it to do you all's thing. So you may not have promoted the fundraiser, but you may have been on the receiving end of it in the end. Cy Strikling, the pegmaster in what is it now? The pegmaster general says this: if you ever once, and she puts once in all caps. Wow, that's just exactly like what Reds and Sean does.
So apparently he's never heard of emphasis.
Listen to the people involved tell the story. You'd have the real in all caps, real in all soybean caps, facts, not the uni-facts. Oh, want to talk about uni-facts now, do you? We're making sure that this little tweet, Cy Strikling, gets to the authorities. So we're archiving it. We're getting it to the authorities. Oh, I know you're not scared. I know you think it's all just uni bullshit. Okay.
Yes, please, Uni. Please go to the authorities with my tweet. I'm sure they'll be so excited to see it. And I really don't care. I'm not scared. I know that we have the facts, and so it doesn't matter what you decide to do about going to the authorities or what the donors, as you call them, decide to do about going to the authorities. It doesn't matter either way because the facts will prevail.
Sean didn't have 10K when we met. You notice how they always say things like that? Notice the when we met? So she's not going to talk about what he took from the community. She's going to say when we met.
So apparently Uni doesn't like to read fully before spouting bullshit about something he knows nothing about. Because if he just continued to read the tweet instead of just stopping at, Sean didn't have 10K when we met, as he likes to do, he would see where I actually specify that Sean had never reached the goal. But finally he gets to that part, so let's listen in.
Right? So she knows that any of the donators that are following her and Sean and Reds are going to read, Sean didn't have 10K when we met. And that implies that he paid the landlord, right? That implies also that Unirock's lying that he made 10K from the fundraiser. Again, Cy Strikling, you think that we haven't, well, she just said, listen to the people. We've listened to all of it. We've saved all of it. We've archived all of it. And we have those streams. I just played some of them the other day. So if you'd listen to the uni that you lie about, you would know this and wouldn't have to look like such an idiot. Either way, though.
Sean actually did say that it was never the full 10,000 that was reached from his GoFundMe. He's said it many times since you made your original accusation, approximately a year or so ago.
She says, Sean didn't have 10K when we met. His fundraiser never reached 10K. So now she's taking Sean's new narrative because she's going to act like I haven't been criticizing these guys since when I first started over a year ago. And she's not going to act like Sean didn't respond back then. Sean never said that he didn't raise 10K back then. Sean never, stood up and said, you're lying about what I raised or something.
Yes, he did say he needed 10,000. You are correct, Unirock.
But all I played Sean saying he needed 10K. Sean didn't return the money, did he? Did he? Okay. He had gotten enough to pay the landlord for the rest of his lease, and he did so in caps.
And that is absolutely correct. That is what I said, and that is what I meant. He got enough money to pay the rest of his lease to his landlord, and that's what he did.
That is a lie, Cy Strikling. You are lying to the community, and that's why that's going to the authorities.
Do you have any proof that that's a lie, Unirock?
That right there is why. You are lying. Prove it.
Wait, you want me to prove that I'm lying?
Tell Sean to go to social media right now, because we know that Sean's either sitting right next to you or typing that himself. You put out right now the proof that he paid that landlord. Right now. Today. You guys can take all the time in the world to watch all my streams.
You just said I'm lying, and now you're telling me to prove it. If you're making the accusation that I'm lying, go ahead and prove it yourself that I'm lying.
You guys can... Oh, and look at that. Hold on. Hashtag no bacon for flurfs. So you guys can go around ripping people off with these fundraisers, lying and collecting this money and lying about what you did with this money. And you're going to make fun of flat earthers, right? You realize 95% of flat earthers are provably smarter, provably better people than you guys. You guys are worse than flat earthers. And I know you're never going to be able to see it. You're never going to get it. But 99.99% going on into infinity of the world, other than your couple little friends, know that it's true. So this is Sean knows that she tweeted this.
That is also correct. Sean does know that I tweeted this. I actually tagged him in it, so yeah, he does know.
So Sean's going to come in, and he's going to correct her and say, now hold on, honey, I didn't pay the landlord. But no, he won't, because that's what he's been lying about this whole time.
Again, how about you prove that he's lying? You're making the accusation that he's lying, so prove it. It shouldn't be that hard.
Put out the proof that you paid the landlord then. Let's see the proof.
So you're telling him he's lying, but he has to prove that he's not lying? That's not how this works. You're making the accusation. You therefore have the burden of proof.
Make sure when you put out the proof that you paid the landlord, that you put out the proof that you paid the rest of your lease. Why didn't you guys go fucking to court and sue that landlord? Did you guys think about suing the landlord? Tell me right now, why didn't you sue the landlord? Why didn't you go and sue him and stand up in court and tell the judge that this landlord was breaking the law by charging you the rest of your lease?
Okay, let me just go over this real quick for you. When you sign a lease, that is a contract, a binding contract. You are obligated to complete that contract. That's what those four corners of the paper mean. Now, if you leave an apartment or any kind of rental place, you are obligated to pay the remainder of the lease. Now, the landlord has to make all reasonable efforts to rent out the unit as soon as possible. But if they're unable to, for whatever reason, then you're on the hook until they do. There's nowhere in the law that says if the landlord rents it out, then you don't owe anything at all. This was actually stated in the interview that never was on Red's Rhetoric channel. Sean talks to Reds and BM Furball and a couple of other people about this exact subject. Let's listen in and see what was said back in April of 2020.
Yep. Hey, Reds, and before we move on, I'd like to go over a little more with Sean. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Go ahead. No, we're about having discussions. That's fine.
Yeah. So, and this is to kind of, this is for you to tell your story about all the things that he thinks are fraudulent.
Jared, can you show the,
back to the
screen
meeting.
inside the call again?
Okay. So one of the goal, I asked you why that goal was set, the $10,000 goal, and what was the specific reason for that goal?
Okay, the goal was to cover 10 months of lease because the lease was signed July 3rd. So July's rent was already paid, August's rent was already paid, which left 10 months left on the lease. In Indiana, a landlord is supposed to provide every effort to try to get a rental apartment leased out to somebody else if the original leaseholder is either evicted or moves out. Because the original leaseholder is responsible for all of the time that the apartment is empty. Now, the complex that I lived in has a very, very nasty habit, which they are still living up to this day, of saying that an apartment is under renovation until that lease would have run out. That way they don't have to worry about, repair expenses from people breaking stuff in case, like say your dishwasher goes out. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about paying to replace that. That's free money in their pocket. It's unethical for them to do, but unless you can prove that the apartment is actually rentable and they're not, you can't do anything about it. So you have to pay for a lease in full until it's rented out, which I actually got reached out to by an old friend in Elkhart that I haven't talked to in years. Asked me what's going on. He didn't even know that I moved. So I had him go and check if the apartment's still if it's been rented yet. It's still empty. And it's been 6 months. 7 actually, since I've been there.
If you had just left, if you had just packed your shit and walked away, what would have happened?
What would have happened is when the lease would have ran out, they rented the apartment out again to somebody else. They would have hit me for every month of rent in court that the apartment was left empty. And that would have been up to 10 months. So I wanted to make sure that was covered. And then there was enough to be able to handle getting a U-Haul to move all of her stuff down to Florida. Well, dropping her off in Georgia, obviously, and then going to Florida from there.
So as you can see there, that video was actually from April of 2020. So no, his story hasn't changed at all, Unirock.
Well, do you need the law? Well, I can help you find it. Go search it in Google. You heard that scope I did a couple days ago. Sean said that you and him have been watching and recording every one of my scopes. He said this on Twitter. He said this multiple times. Watching and recording all my scopes. Prove that he paid the landlord. Or do you want me to prove that he didn't? Which one? Which one you want? Oh, I guarantee you're going to say, no, you prove it, Uni.
Yes, Unirock. Actually, you're making the claim that he did not pay the landlord. So yes, I want you to prove your claim.
No, you guys put the claim out there. You put this claim out. You've been lying about it with Reds and Sean and Steve and the rest of the defenders there, Pro Dachshunds and the rest. You've all been lying. Wait. Holy shit. What is the military going to think when BM Furball ends up being busted out for lying that he checked all of this? This is what BM Furball said he was going to check. This is what he said he was going to check.
Again, Furball did check into all of this. He had a very long conversation with Sean, and he brought all that evidence to you. And when it didn't fit your narrative, you suddenly turned on him. Do you want to hear the clips from about a day before to about a day after you turned on him? Let's take a listen. Why not?
It's going to be a good conversation. It's going to be a friendly conversation. I don't have a problem with BM Furball. I don't take a whole community and throw it under a bus because of the fact that, 5 or 6 creators or 7 creators out of that community turn out to be utter, complete scammers, right? What's BM Furball whining about? Because I can kick him, I guess. Oh, my God. BM Furball, get the fuck out, bro. I'm done. I tried to be cool with you, bro. If you're going to play these fucking stupid games. She got kicked because I told my mods to kick her. I've always told my mods to kick her since she lied on me. Okay? It was in one of my live streams. I'm not expecting you to watch all my live streams. Stop acting like I'm fucking doing this dumb shit that these guys... You, BM Furball, you're just as damn flip-floppy as them, bro, and here's why. You only show up when there's this kind of drama, and you're constantly pushing their bullshit narratives. Now, here's the problem. You will criticize me and what happens here, but I will see your ass other places, and you won't open your fucking mouth about anything else. And you really expect the entire community not to notice it? Fuck you. I take back what I said about you joining my Discord server that I offered earlier today. Fuck you. And let's add BM Furball to the in perpetuity list here. If you see BM, Dick in Space or Glober Mom, kick them in a perpetual perpetuity.
So who's the flip-floppy one, Unirock? I take back what I said about you joining my Discord. You sound like a school kid.
This is what he said he looked at and saw with his own eyes and told the community that it was good. He didn't do anything wrong. So you're either just saying this, you're just saying it, you're lying, because you know you want the donators to see this. You want to be able to tell your donators to come look at this. See, Uni's lying because Cy Strikeling said it. Because Sean typed it through her account. Why do I think Sean typed it? Read it. Read that shit and tell me Sean didn't type that.
Ah yes, that part was particularly funny. I actually wasn't even home at the time. I wasn't near Sean. I had ran to the gas station to get gas in the car, and he was home. He didn't know I sent this tweet until I tagged him in it. But by all means, run with your narrative that Sean was typing it on my account.
Did Manya lose her important job in downloading scopes? Well, that was supposedly Sean's job to record it while I'm live. He said he was recording them while I'm live. It was after people were laughing at him for being in the participant list of the Periscope. While he was trying to act like, I don't even care what Uni says. Oh, you just fucked your man up so hard. I know you're used to that. I know it involves pegs, and I know it involves other things. You just fucked this up really hard. What, by the way, what did you used to do for back in 2017, 2018? Did you have any occupation?
Back in 2017 and 2018. Now, that's been a while ago, but yes, actually I did. I've been a veterinary technician for 15 years, and I've also worked in retail for, at this point, about 7.5 years. So in 2017 and 2018, I was doing both of those jobs. Not that anybody should ever have to show these things, but I don't really care. Here are my tax summaries from my tax returns that I filed for the income I received for 2017 and 2018. Now, 2017 was a significantly lower amount because I only had one job at that time. I had cut back working in retail and was pretty much just working at the veterinary hospital at that time. 2018 was a much larger number because in 2018 I was working 3 jobs. I was working approximately 80 hours a week. So, yeah, I would say in 2017 and 2018, I had several occupations.
Well, you're saying I'm a liar. You're attacking me online.
Wait, I'm sorry, who's attacking who online? Let's think about this logically for a moment.
You're literally lying, sitting here acting like this, trying to convince people I'm lying. I think people need to know what you have publicly put out on the internet.
Hey, you've really upped your game with threats, by the way. Making threats and pretty much blackmailing somebody at this point. Kind of dangling something over their head like, hey, I think they should know about you. But that's fine. Let's talk to the people about what I used to do and what I used to be into, because for some reason this is relevant to you. So, I, at one point, had been into a BDSM type of thing. It was about 2017 or so, which is why you bring up 2017 and 2018. In 2017, finances were really tight. As you could see, that year I made a significantly less amount of money. Situation wasn't great at home, and I was trying to just figure out ways to make more money. I had stumbled into different avenues of BDSM, one of which was called a findom. Pretty much what that means is it's somebody who takes money from others for sexual pleasure. Through videos and phone calls, chat messages online, that sort of thing, but nothing was actually in person. Now, that part of it, I really wasn't that interested in. It wasn't something that was a fetish of mine or anything like that. But it was an avenue to make money. And at the time, like I said, I was trying to figure out any possible way to make money. So I looked into it. I tried to dabble in it and see if it was something that I could do, or maybe it was lucrative. Turns out it's not. I wound up, I think, making maybe $10-15 total. And my PayPal actually got shut down because I had these small amounts coming in multiple times in a row in quick succession, and PayPal actually shut down my account because of that. So I kind of gave up on it. But back then, somebody else that I had talked to who was interested in the same thing had reached out to a Twitter page that does interviews of people. And they said, hey, you should do an interview of this person. She's new in the scene, blah, blah, blah. So when I talked to her, she kind of asked me some questions and kind of just told me to make it sound good. So I did. I tried to come up with something that sounded good and sounded like something that would do me good of making money. Again, it never panned out. It wasn't something that paid out big, as evidenced by the following year, me working 3 jobs. But yes, it was something I dabbled in. Now, when you are a findom, the people that pay you are called pay pigs. So yes, in this interview, I did refer to them as that. Since that interview, I've never once said anything about a donator to a GoFundMe or anybody that's given or loaned me money being a pay pig. So Jason likes to say that I call my donators pay pigs. No, that's actually not true, again. There is a link in the description below to that interview if you'd like to see it for yourself. I don't want to hide anything. There's complete transparency. There is a picture of me in there when in some slightly revealing clothing. I mean, everything's covered. But, hey, I mean, I'm a little heavy, but I didn't think I looked that bad. So, yes, that's what Jason is referring to here. But again, good job trying to blackmail and hang something over somebody's head.
You're just lucky. You're lucky it's me and it's not another content creator you're lying about.
Other content creators have passed on it, actually, so that you would push it.
Because other content creators wouldn't even hesitate for 2 seconds. Not even 2 fucking seconds. Oh, it once you see it, you can never unsee it. Why did you call the people that gave you money pay pigs? Are you going to say you never did that? Are you going to say you never called the people that gave you money pay pigs?
Again, I'm not denying that's what they're called. That is the term used for that. So yes, in that interview and while I was doing that sort of thing back in 2017, yes, I said those words. You are correct.
Are you going to lie about that too? Or are you just going to admit to it? Because I think you know the evidence that proves that you did that. I think you know what it is. I think you know.
Again, threatening / blackmail here, hanging something over somebody's head to try to threaten them or make them scared or worried. Good job, Unirock.
Either way, though, let's just handle this tweet.
Yeah, that's rich. Either way, though, let's just handle this tweet now that I've already dangled it over her head.
First, she says that nobody has the recordings of what Sean says about this and hasn't watched it.
So here's my actual tweet. No, that's not what I said, Unirock, but, keep putting words in my mouth.
Then she says that Sean didn't raise 10K when Sean's already said he did. I know he's changed his story recently that he didn't.
Again, Sean's story was never that he raised the full 10,000. He never got to the full 10,000, period.
But don't worry, she's added a clause. She has a catch in this because she says, when Sean came to me, when we met, Sean didn't have 10K when we met. Well, he probably didn't have 10K. He probably spent a lot of that on some other shit. But you say he paid a landlord. You called him a landlord, and you say that you paid that landlord. He had gotten enough to pay the landlord. So notice, when she started writing it, she made sure to leave it open so that she could make people believe that he paid the landlord without directly saying it, but then she fucked up. She fucked up bad.
I didn't leave it open. I ran out of characters and immediately posted the next message in reply. As you can see here, the times are all immediately after the other. So I didn't leave it open to make it sound like maybe he did or didn't pay the landlord.
For the rest of his lease and did so. Then she puts a period and then a space, what he had left. God, that dog. When we met was the money that was used to move his roommate back to her family in Georgia and then move him to Reds. No. He said that was stolen from him. He didn't help her move to Georgia. She stole it. Remember?
Apparently your reading comprehension skills aren't too good because in that tweet, as you can see here, it's still up on the screen, it says it was to be used to move her to Georgia. It was supposed to be used, is what that means. To be used means that's what it was intended for. Not that that's what it was used for.
She stole it out of his account. Remember? She took that money out of their joint bank account, not PayPal account. I know Uni can't tell the two apart. and to get herself to Georgia instead, which was, and then I guess she said even more.
And again, reading comprehension is not his strong suit because that was the end of that tweet where I ran out of characters again, and I replied directly below that it says to get herself to Georgia instead, which was approximately 1,000. As you can see here, it's still on the screen. There's the actual tweets. So just because you can't read them, Unirock, doesn't mean they mean what you say they do.
So it just seems to me like she's rambling her fucking ass off here. Seems to me like she's just going fucking crazy on this, man. Wonder what got her tweeting. I wonder what got her talking about this.
And here's the reason, Unirock. You said that Sean and I stole $10,000, which is a factual lie. You want factual, this is factual.
You don't usually get these guys saying anything. But now we have Sean, who is either going to come out and correct her, or we're just going to say that Sean agrees. You can't do that. It's not like I live with her. It's not like everything I say and everything she says we constantly back each other up on. It's not like, it's going to be a proof that I believe the same thing if I don't correct her. Yes, it will. Yes, it is.
Of course he agrees with me. Why wouldn't he? That's the facts. It would be stupid for him to not agree with the facts.
So has he tweeted yet? I know he ran off, and he's been dead quiet about all this. Sean, do you want to confirm that you paid the landlord? Do you want to confirm that you didn't take $10,000 and that you paid the landlord your $7,400? You going to confirm that for us? Because now that she's saying this, now that she's lying for you, well, now there's some major problems out there. Now, if we don't speed up the process, if we don't have more people actually get involved and get the other donators involved in getting the authorities in this and checking this out, well, holy shit. Holy shit, man. She has to know. You know she knows the truth. You know she knows the truth. So why is she lying here? That is a direct lie. That is a provable lie.
There he goes again with a provable lie. Okay, you're accusing me of lying. Prove it. That's what provable means.
So you're going to act like he didn't come to you with any money. You have to do that. You just said he didn't make $10K and that he did pay the landlord. So that would mean he came to you with nothing. How did he even come to you? If she took $1,000 out of the account, that means that, and he did pay the landlord, that means, and you're acting like it's my fault, it's Uni and the donator's fault for not knowing the exact specifics. It's Sean's fault for changing his story, lying about this, and playing this game the whole time. That is Sean's fault. It makes you look like a moron that you want to try to put it on me. But I don't mind. The more that you guys want to make yourselves look like morons, the more that, oh, hold on. I got to turn on Do Not Disturb. I'm dumb. The more that you guys make yourself look like morons, the better it is. Why do you think we don't mind when you run around in your Twitter groups and you guys spasm your butthurt response tweets to everyone else's opinions about you? But at the same time, you, the cult leader, Sean, say things like, if you have a problem with my opinion, that's a you problem, not a me problem. They've all said this. Red's Rhetoric, Sean, Silverfish, they've all said that that's their opinion. That if you have a problem with their opinion, it's free speech. That is a you problem, that you have a problem, not a me problem. People are allowed to have their opinions. All opinions are sacred. That's what non sequitur was. All opinions are sacred.
Opinions are one thing. Accusations are another. I really think you need to learn the difference between these, Unirock, because what you're doing is not giving your opinion. You are making accusations. You are passing things off as fact. And in doing so, going back later and saying, but it's just my opinion, doesn't cut it. You've already made the accusation as fact, which does fall into defamation.
But I'll be goddamned. You want to sit here and act like because Sean lies so much that people who say one of his stories from when he first said something, or another one of his stories from when he talked another time, or another one of his stories from when he talked another time, they're just horrible fucking liars. Why hasn't Sean done a video and actually laid this all out in an understandable way for everyone and actually ironed down what his opinion is? Well, I'll tell you why.
Let me stop you there real quick, Unirock. Actually, there's going to be a link here to Red's Rhetoric's video with BM Furball back in April of 2020, because Sean did just what you're saying he didn't do. So you'll find below a link to that video. It'll say the link to this video at this such and such timestamp, so you can please go, feel free to watch it for yourself.
Peg Master General here. I'll tell you why. The one in the relationship the person who wears the peg in the relationship here. You know, no pants, just a peg.
Who's the one making sexual references, Unirock?
The point that I'm making here is that he won't do it because the last time him and Reds tried to do it, they had to redo it 5 times, change their story a bunch of times, and fucking lie to everybody about what happened, and then cry about how nobody believes them and everybody thinks they're liars, and how it's everyone else's fault that they fucking can't keep their story straight. You see the issue, Cy Strikeling?
Well, I mean, that's a bold-faced lie. Again, I'm linking to the in the description below is the link to Red's video where Reds and Sean and Furball do exactly what you're saying they didn't do.
So, you want to fucking say that there is no proof out there that could tell us whether or not Sean paid the landlord. There is none. There is no proof out there. It's just something that can't ever be confirmed. It cannot ever be proven. And Sean has to be telling the truth because Sean said that. Sean said that. And she's not involved in this. She got lied to by Sean, guys. Sean lied to her. It's not that she directly knew. It's not that she directly said. It's not that she looks at these donators as if they are pay pigs.
Again, not once have I ever referred to donators to a GoFundMe or donators to a PayPal account as pay pigs. That term was last used in 2017 by me, and I would love for you to prove since then where I've ever referred to anybody as that. Again, you're making the accusation. Burden of proof is on you to prove your accusation.
It's not that she thinks that people that send her money are dumb enough to send it to her. It's not like she's never said that. No. She's never said that people who send her money, it's their fault for sending it to her. It's not her fault for taking it. It's not like she has that opinion. It's not like she has the opinion that people are pay pigs if they donate. Oh no, that's not provable or anything, is it? Uni's a liar. Uni's a liar.
It's actually Uni is a cherry picker. Context is very important, Unirock, and when I use that word, the context that it was in and the time that it was in is quite relevant, as I explained earlier. So, again, no, I've never referred to a donator or somebody that's helped out or loaned money, anything like that, as a pay pig.
And it's everyone else's fault that you guys do this stuff. You do what you do, he does what he does, and then when people see what you do and they draw the opinion that they have off of the facts, now they're liars and bad people. Yeah, that's how logic works, isn't it, Cy Strikeling? That's how logic works. It's how this all works. This is just another one of those times where Unirock is running his mouth. This is just another one of those times where Unirock is just lying and wrong and all this stuff, right? Yeah, sure is. Sure is, because there's no fucking way whether it could be proven if he paid the landlord or not for the rest of his lease. There's no way you could prove that or not. That shit can't even be proven. And you would have no interest in knowing the truth. You would just take him on his word for it. Like, you wouldn't think it's strange that some dude showed up at your doorstep with all this money, with this story. So how much did he have exactly, Cy Strikeling? You know how much money he had when he showed up at your doorstep. What is your fucking number? What is the number that he had? You're sitting here saying, I'm a fucking liar. Okay. What is the number that he had when he showed up at your doorstep? We know that he paid, according to you, he paid the landlord $7,400. After he paid the landlord $7,400, his roommate stole $1,000 out of his bank account because Uni can't tell the difference between what bank accounts are. Because they say PayPal accounts aren't bank accounts. They say that PayPal does not meet the definition of a fucking bank account. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's not considered online banking at all.
Alright, Unirock, this is from the official PayPal website, their user agreement about your account. Here you can see, as we scroll over, that it specifically says PayPal is not a bank. I'm pretty sure that it contradicts exactly what you're saying.
Nope. If you called it that, you'd be lying like Unirock. It's not that the definition of a bank is a specific thing, the definition of an account is a specific thing, and that PayPal meets the burden of all those definitions. Oh no, this is just lying at its fucking... It's lying when you call PayPal a bank account. It's not lying when you lie about fucking paying a landlord. Or a company. A company. An actual company that was renting you the house. You know that already, though. I know you know. I know for a fact you're lying. And I know you know. But I didn't know. Sean lied to me. I'm a victim of Sean now, because I'm a perpetual victim. I wasn't a perpetrator next to him. I'm a victim. I promise. I never called any of the donators pay pigs. I promise, says Cy Strikeling while she's polishing her peg. I never called them pay pigs.
Again, burden of proof is on you to prove that I ever called any of my donators a pay pig, because once again, that term hasn't been used by me since 2017.
I never stated my ideology when it comes to people donating money to someone. I never said that anywhere. Never in an interview or anything.
And first of all, there he is again trying to dangle it over my head. Oh, it was an interview or something, right? Yeah, that's exactly what I linked below. But again, good job trying to dangle it over my head. And in that interview, you'll never see that I mention anybody donating or giving to a GoFundMe being referred to as a pay pig. It's completely out of context what you're saying.
Never did an interview where I called the donators pay pigs. Never. This isn't a scam. It's perfectly normal to have a dog locked in a cage covered in shit while you guys sit next to it smelling the shit and living in the shit with it. Perfectly normal. Perfectly normal.
Oh yeah, so there's another threat or blackmail type of a comment. You trying to make it insinuating comments about something, but not really saying what it's about. So I'll tell everybody, since you didn't seem to have the balls to finish that sentence. Yes, there's pictures floating around that were given to Dat High Guy, Dat High Guy then gave them to Unirock, of course, of my dog in a penned-in area in the house covered in dog shit. Now, those pictures weren't taken when I was home. They weren't taken by me. Yes, they did happen. My dog was in a penned-in area, and he was covered in shit. So, let me tell you a little bit about that. He's a German Shepherd. He has a very sensitive stomach. At the time when I first got him, I didn't know what was wrong with him. He would just have raging diarrhea. He would just cover himself in poo every chance he got. Like I said, I was a veterinary technician, and at the time when I got him was when I was working 3 jobs. So 2 of those jobs were at vet hospitals. So all of my shifts, he would come with me because I didn't know what was going on, and I needed to make sure that I could watch him, and if he did have an accident and shit everywhere, that I could clean it or bathe him if needed. I had him checked out by vets at the vet hospital that I worked at. It was an emergency and specialty veterinary hospital. They ran a battery of tests on him. It took quite a long time to do all these tests and figure it out, but in the end we found out that he had food allergies. So then it was a food trial where we had to figure out exactly which foods he was allergic to, which ones caused the issue, which ones made it better. And we finally settled on a food that he now eats. It's a salmon and tuna food. I'm sure there's other foods that he can eat with similar ingredients, salmon or something like that. But once I found one that worked, I stopped there. But yes, those pictures did happen. I'm not going to deny it. But he was never left in poo while we sat next to him. The amount of times a day I bathed him because he would just not be able to control his poo was out of control. And yes, I penned him in a small area in the house when I wasn't home because I wanted to make sure that the entire house wasn't covered in poo, not just him and a small section. Here's the picture. I'm going to put it up on the screen just so you can see it because again, full transparency. That picture did happen. There was occasions where I would come home, either from my day job where I couldn't take him with me, or even just running errands, anything like that. And he would be covered in poo, and I would again take him in the bathroom, put him in the tub, clean him. Then I would come out and clean the floor and everything else that was covered in poo, and then clean the tub, and then rinse and repeat, essentially. This went on for a while we figured out what was wrong. But again, yes, it did happen. But no, he was never sitting in poo while I sat next to him. And all of this was actually resolved before Sean ever got there. So saying that Sean and I sat next to him covered in poo and smelling the poo is completely inaccurate. Another thing I want to address that Unirock said was he wanted to know how much money Sean came to me with. So Sean had paid the landlord. It was $74.50. And when he came to me, he flew. He didn't drive. And Unirock knows this. He's seen those receipts before from United Airlines. But even if he doesn't know, now he does. He didn't drive. He didn't have to pay gas and food and lodging to get there. He flew. He made one flight. And here we have a screen grab of his bank account when the money was taken out. And you can see the balance was $12.25. She took out $300 on one transaction and $480 on the other for a total of $780 taken. I estimated in my tweet and said approximately $1,000, but it was $780 to be exact. And so the $12.25 minus the $780 that was taken is all that Sean had left when we started living together. So guys, with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. He goes on for much, much longer, another half hour or so of his Periscope. And if I was to sit here and cover the entire Periscope, we'd be here for hours and hours on end, just going over bits and pieces. But those were the main points. It was the money, the $10,000 that he says that Sean and I stole, that he never actually even got. There was the pay pigs that he said that I called our donators, which was never the case. And there was the issue of the dog being covered in poo. So I've covered all of those things. If you want to listen to the rest of his Periscope, you're more than welcome. I'm going to put a link to that in the description as well. By all means, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I am an open book with all of this, and I don't mind answering any questions. I'm not embarrassed by anything. It's not something I'm proud of, some of my past, but it's in the past. It's something I did. It's something that I felt I needed to try to do at the time, and it is what it is. So with that, everybody, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm Cy Strikeling, and I'll see y'all in the next one.